A handsome man or a beautiful woman, in the end, wind up ugly old donkeys. From angel to eyesore in a few years. In human beings, beauty is only borrowed. Bit by bit, God recalls the lone. I've fallen in love with beauty itself. I've quit falling in love with skin and bones. So, Josh, I mean, you've got some good days ahead of you, though, you know.
But the thing is, you see, he gives it back. You know, I used to be really ugly, but then I died and reincarnated, and now I get handsome again. You know, it's
yeah, yep, he's got it. There's always, you know, eventually it comes around. Okay, this is another one by, well, this is Kabir. He was a perfect master. Following a path that couldn't be followed, I came to the sorrowless realm. The mercy of the beloved was upon me. Though he is called unattainable, I saw him without sight. Kabir. Now this is Prophet Muhammad. You will not enter paradise until you have faith, and you will not have faith until you love one another. Let me guide you to something, the doing of which you will love one another. Give a loving greeting to everyone among you. Prophet Muhammad. This is Rumi's last poem. The very last. Through love, all that is cold becomes warm-hearted. In love's light, hard stones soften and melt. Do not be harsh to his lovers for their abnormalities. The wine of love has made them mad and ill-mannered. That's Rumi's last.
That's a good description for a lot of Baba lovers.
Yeah, I mean, the abnormalities fits. And then, I mean, some of them are in, the wine of love has made them mad and ill-mannered. Okay, here's the last one. The body is like Mary. This is Rumi. The body is like Mary, and each of us has a Jesus within. If pain and suffering come, our Jesus will be born. But if no pain comes, Jesus will return to his origin on that same hidden road by which he came, and we will be deprived of his divine splendor.
Can you read that again?
The body is like Mary, and each of us has a Jesus within. If pain and suffering come, our Jesus will be born. But if no pain comes, Jesus will return to his origin on that same hidden road by which he came, and we will be deprived of his divine splendor. That's the way these guys talk, you know, among themselves. Hafiz is whispering over to Rumi, and Rumi is whispering over to Saudi, and you know, that's what. So I was wondering, Jaysima, is this a good time I was thinking of putting up this wonderful quote of Baba's.
Yeah.
And let's have Joshua, no, we'll have Jake read it when it comes up. So Jake, go ahead.
Starting with do.
Yeah.
So this is called work, and do whatever need to be done, but do it as a spiritual being, as one who knows his divine by nature and united with it, with the whole of his life in essence. Do it as if you are doing it for me or for God. Do it with equal consideration for the interest of all concerned. For God is equally in each. Do it with utmost concentration, yet with utter detachment from the results of action. Leave the fruits of action to me or to God. Do it as if they were the most important thing in the universe. Yet let it be destroyed or ignored or ridiculed without concern, or let it be praised without elation. Leave the response to me or to God. Do it, in short, as if you were not doing it at all, but as if I or God were doing it through you. Meher Baba.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful quote. So I'll get the ball rolling here, and I'm just going to kind of go down line by line. I won't do the last line because in a way that's about the provisional ego, and that's we'll talk about that later. But that first line, do whatever needs to be done, but do it as a spiritual being, as one who knows he is divine by nature and united with the whole of life and essence. Well, I don't kind of experience doing things as a spiritual being, but I do have Baba without me throughout the day. So there's at least one divine being who is present while things are being done. So in other words, there's definitely Baba's divinity is there, but I don't experience myself as a divine being or as a spiritual being. Baba says, do it as if you're doing it for me or for God. And I mean, I believe we're all here. We wake up in the morning and we're trying to do and offer the day to Baba, and at the end of the day, we offer it again to Baba. But I think we all are all doing it for Baba. We're living our life for Baba. I have no doubt about that. Do it with equal consideration for the interest of all concerned, for God is equally in each. And I'm just talking about myself. I had a very, I was kind of raised with that everybody was important, whoever they happened to be or whatever they were like. And Baba has said, everyone is first in importance and no one is second. Wouldn't it be a different world if that were the paradigm? Everyone is first in importance and no one is second. Those are Baba's words. So do it with utmost concentration, yet with utter detachment from the results of action. Leave the fruits of action to me or to God. That is, for me, is a much harder thing. That's the greatest challenge there, is just being detached from the results. I mean, even these late night chats, I'm wondering, oh my God, is what we talk about going to be relevant? I mean, beforehand, I kind of worry about these things, but then once they get going, I feel Baba's supporting hand and things, but I'm never really confident beforehand, I have to tell you. Some of you know that because I call you before this happens. Do it as if it were do it as if it was the most important thing in the universe, yet let it be destroyed or ignored or ridiculed without concern, or let it be praised without elation. Leave the response to me or to God. Now, I think most of you find that if you do something with love for Baba, even if people criticize or blame you, and you know that you're doing it with love for Baba, then at least I find it doesn't bother me that much. I kind of sorry that you didn't like what I did, but if I feel like I've done it with Baba, I'm kind of protected. And as far as praise, I always feel like I'm always everything is falling a little bit short. So it doesn't. Praise is kind of like, I don't know what to say about praise. I can't quite, I mean, I appreciate people's appreciation, but one of Mansari's motto was always be satisfied with Baba's love for you, never be satisfied with your love for him. Kind of, I mean, that's not to make you feel bad. It's just that was her sentiment. Anyway, now the last one is do it in short as if you were not doing it at all, but as if God were doing it through you. So this is something that I think is kind of like a larger topic. And, because that's kind of gets into the, provisional ego. So maybe we'll explore that. But I'll just open it up to anybody who wants to chime in on what this means to you, what challenges you might have with it, whatever. Okay. Although I see all I'm doing is seeing the screen sharing. I don't see any of. I see some of you. Oh, there you are. Yeah. Anyone have any thoughts about this, that, oh, okay, we got Jake.
Yeah, I love this quote. It's absolutely beautiful, and it speaks directly to the anxiety that I feel in the eve of starting a new school year. And, I feel miserable, terrible, awful about starting the school year again because of my fear of anticipation, because of my fear of having to create a whole new base of relationships and trust and so many things. And anyway, so this quote really helps me to calm down in myself and help really bring into focus what my real job is starting tomorrow. And it is, bringing Baba in myself out into my job in the relationships that I have as a teacher as much as I possibly can. Leaving the results up to him. Don't worry about it. The kids, like me or not, or like the lesson I created, or like the experience or not. That's for Baba to worry about. I mean, certainly be reflective of the information, feedback I get, but to not be worried about whether it was liked or not. Just understand, okay, next time I could do something different to get a different experience for that person, as opposed to it being about me and so on and so forth. So I think it's a beautiful, beautiful framework for being with Baba in my constant day, in my day.
And how will you do it? What are some practical examples? Like, will you just be like sort of taking Baba's name inwardly? Will you like have reminders on your phone to think about him what's your strategy?
Well, yeah, no, I certainly will take Baba's name. I mean, I think that's part of my process. But I find that I have to really just be in the moment and start there, and then just be in the moment and do my best to respond to each moment that comes up. I just took a picture of that quote that was on the screen, so that's definitely going to become part of my I think a routine for the next couple of days is to read that or remind myself as I go through the day. It really, I think for me, it really just kind of comes back to remind myself to leave it up to Baba, to not to get attached to the results, which I do, and causes me all kinds of anxiety.
That's kind of a timely quote, as it turns out.
I can't tell you.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's beautiful.
And you've been with Baba so long, you're going to do it all for Baba. So that part of it's taken care of. You're going to do your best for Baba. That in itself is fantastic. Otherwise the kids will starve and Katie will suffer,
I thought about quitting, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, it's good, beautiful.
Jake, can I ask you a question? Is this the first time you're going back in person since COVID started?
No, it's not. Fortunately, it is not. But yeah. But this is the going back is requiring something of me that I haven't had to do in a long time. And I kind of got really burnt out of doing towards the end of the school year, which is being really emotionally present and available from just a generous, deep, loving space within myself, rooted in Baba. That's something that I've kind of lost touch with over the summer, or in recovery from a horrible ending to the school year, which I'll spare the details of. And so I guess it's kind of like a matter of trusting myself, like Jeff was saying. I really do think I will absolutely be just fine. So.
I mean, being in a classroom, you've got 30 entirely different planets, so to speak. You have to learn the language of every one of those planets, so to speak. Every kid is a whole unique world. And you have to, going in there, you have to kind of absorb that. It's not a one size fits all sort of a thing. Every one of them you have to calibrate, and it's a huge undertaking, especially I would say in the first few weeks, right?
Yeah, no, that's definitely right. And this is where then that is really the real work of being a teacher for sure, and to do that with an open heart and presence, so that you don't become withered and bitter in that role. That's the real art. It's easy to get withered and bitter because of all the stuff that happens and goes on along the way. So.
Jake, are you a teacher in the school?
Yeah.
What age children?
High school. So
they're vaccinated.
Some of them are, I'm sure. Some of them are not, I'm sure as well.
They're not required to be vaccinated?
No.
Jeez.
I'm sure it's a very conservative area where you live in as well. I know where my family lives, a lot of people are not vaccinated as well either.
Are your parents still unvaccinated, Peter?
My mom is, my dad's not. But I believe personally that's their own personal choice. And let's try to change the subject about being vaccinated though. Personally, this subject with work, it's very timely for me. I'm hard on myself, very hard on myself. I'll beat myself up mentally when I make mistakes, and for any work I do anywhere, and that can be tough sometimes for me. I'm trying my best, give it all to Baba, and know that Baba's that everything's Baba's anyway. Leave the results to Baba. But easier said than done.
And also, Baba's doing it.
Yeah, it's easy to forget that Baba's doing it. I'll be honest. For the most part, I forget Baba's doing it. I gotta remember Baba's doing it.
Jeff, what is that great quote that you've told us about? The punchline is that we don't realize how great we are. Is that something about Darwin said that? What's the greatest fault of Baba lovers or something like that?
Yeah, well, I once said to Darwin, what is the biggest mistake the Baba lovers are making? He said they think of themselves as small and they remain small. Think big. Think even outside the traditional spiritual box. they're much greater than we think. And, but it's hard to let the confidence kind of expand who we are. But we tend to think of a little old me. And then we have like low self-esteem, so we shrink down. So this is breaking away from that. And thinking of ourselves as what can I say? Welcome citizens in the world. No. Senators at large. Hey, Mayor.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jeff,
Yeah.
you had said, being small and this thing, you were just reading about that. People were being small.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, many people I don't know, feel in my feelings, I feel that some, just try to make us on one side, oh, you are small, I am big. And I know about Baba and you don't know about Baba. Why does this happen?
Well, those are those sanskars back in there. Baba says we've got a superiority complex, and the superiority complexes in us.
Okay.
I mean, we have to overcome those. There's no validity to it, but people still live as if they're superior to somebody and inferior to others.
Yep.
But everybody's superior to Al Grasso. I mean, that's
Just want to know that. Oh,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, don't believe it. We're
I don't believe it. I just believe my Baba is there and I believe what Baba is telling me.
yeah, everyone is first in importance. Okay, Prakash.
Yeah, Jai Baba. No, I mean, this is complex. I mean, particularly being detached with the results of whatever you do is a task in itself. I mean, because there is this pride that looms large, actually. No matter how much we try to, tone it down because of what Baba said, pride eventually creeps in and then can, make things a little awkward. But one of the things I found out with work is basically not that I do it as a spiritual being, like you said, Jeff. I mean, it's so difficult. But then you can always take his name. And one of the things I used to do when I used to go to work or have a meeting, which I feel is going to be a little complicated, I would see that everybody in there is Baba. And as I enter the work spot, I would visualize and then say Baba's name and say that everybody in there is a form of Baba. And then suddenly things would become easy. I mean, in a way, I was sort of depending on him. That's what I thought I was doing by that act. So that's one thing I used to do. And then there was this time when I really, massively messed up at work. And it's as if I would lose my job tomorrow. I mean, you go to work and the first thing you would hear is the boss saying, "You're done, you go home." But, I guess you think deeply about Baba when you're in deep trouble. I mean, so I did pray to Baba so sincerely, I guess. And I went to work. I tell you, not a word was said. Not a word. Not that people were very friendly and saying that, look, I mean, whatever happened is fine. I mean, none of those words. But all that I imagined that things would go wrong and then the world will cave in didn't happen at all. So, so if you, I mean, as the quote says, I mean, if we depend on him, it'll be just things will work out, not necessarily the way you want it all the time, but I guess it's always for your best. And I have another silly example. I mean, I don't know if it makes sense, but then, when I play tennis, every day morning, I mean, I not a great player I am, but I used to, hit balls all over the place. Then I thought, let me take Baba's name and then start playing. And then I would imagine the ball is Baba, the racket is Baba, the ground is Baba, everything around is Baba. And you won't believe it. Things started improving, and slowly it started to work for me. And then I found my friend who partners and plays with me also had a similar issue. I mean, he would hit the balls all over the place. Then, instead of directly telling him that if you play for others, just like doing it for others, real happiness lies in making others happy. I didn't want to tell him, so he might be offended. But then I said, okay, my friend in Myrtle Beach told me that, when you play so that the other person plays well. I don't know. That seemed to have worked, and then suddenly we both started to do things a little better than before. So, I mean, I don't know if these are relevant examples for the quote that you gave, but I thought I would mention this and share it with you all. Jai Baba.
Yeah, thank you, Prakash. Good. Beautiful. You know what? I should ask Jay Seema or Shailaja to call the people because I don't necessarily know the order.
I guess it's Janet.
Okay.
Hi, is Jake still on the call?
Yeah, Jake is still here.
Okay, I wanted to say something else, but I just wanted to say to Jake how much, I have 2 grandchildren and they just started school and I once taught school too, and I just know what an effort it is, but oh my God, I also know from the side of the young people right now that how much appreciation they have for teachers that I know you are. I have no doubt in my mind, even a smidgen of a doubt, how much the kids get out of your class, Jake. So I'm just thanking you right now for that. But
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that a lot.
well, I don't have any doubt, Jake. If my kids were in your class, I would be thrilled, my grandkids, and they would be too. So anyway, I also wanted to say, I sell supplemental kinds of Medicare insurance. And I don't do it like constantly. I do it, I do it irregularly just so that I have an income. And it makes me very anxious. I just have to say, I get very anxious, especially about all the technology part of the job. And so I just feel like, okay, I'm in the same position as some of you've talked about, Peter and Jake and stuff. I'm like, okay, I have to be able to cope with this better and not get completely so anxious every time I meet with clients. And so I've been working on that. And then I got this quote from Jeff, and it was really, the one for tonight. I think it came on Friday, and I met with a client on Friday, and actually it went just fine, except that after she was the type of person who needed a lot of attention and help. And so by the time we were done, my patience was thin. And that doesn't make me feel like I'm doing, Bob a service either. So I read the quote and I really talked to Bob about it. And of course, the next morning, this woman calls me, like, that's a Saturday morning at 8:30. She's calling me again already. And I couldn't believe, after having had that conversation with Bob, I couldn't believe how patient Baba was with this woman and kind and it was so beautiful. And I got to feel that. I got to feel, I got to feel the Baba's presence moving through me with this woman. And, that was kind of a small miracle, I just want to say, compared to the day before. Even though I was very nice, inside I was tense and impatient, and that just completely changed after thinking about it being Baba who was there doing it. So thank you, Jeff. Thank
Yeah.
you, Baba. Mhm.
Thank you. Yeah, this is a great quote. Wonderful. And hard to find. I couldn't find it. I found it on a wall with no attribution, but so I had to type it up. But yeah, go ahead, Jasima, who's,
Diane and Terry. Diane and Terry. Yeah.
So, Jay Bubba, everyone, it's Terry. And I think that I try to bring Baba into me when I do my work. And so I feel like he's working through me. But what Prakash said really hit me, that Baba's in my patients and that I can see them all as Baba, like you could see your students as Babas. And I don't know, it just changed. Like I'm always wanting them to be okay with my process and how I do my work. And, and I do say it's in my brain, it's Baba's work and he's working through me. And there are days I don't feel as great as others and don't have the same kind of energy, but I do the best I can. And I figure Baba's okay with that because he's working through me. But to be able to see all my patients as Baba, that's really something. So I wanted to thank you.
beautiful. Yeah. Hey, this just reminded me of, and I don't know if I got all the wording just right, but there's a woman named Sheila Krinsky. She's one of the partners of Shariar Press. But she was in New York working as a teacher, I think a high school teacher. And working in the New York school system is like battering. I mean, sometimes you even have to fear for your physical well-being. I've had friends that they went after them with after the teacher with chairs. It's like, but anyway, she was like just going crazy with this class. And, just having to control her anger and everything. And it was just torture. And in the middle of that, she gets a cable from Baba saying he is so happy with her work for him. I mean, it's like, what? I mean, all she's doing is just trying to contain her anger and upset and everything and having nothing but a torture with these kids. And Baba sends his love and acknowledges her service to him. So you can't even tell what is pleasing to Baba, because she certainly didn't feel like she was even being a good teacher, let alone doing a service for Baba that would please Baba. Anyone else have
I just want to say, Jeff, I think that's a great story to encapsulate how, doing things that please Baba is not a glorious task. You're not doing amazing, fun, crazy, great things that are exhilarating and all that. You're doing some real hard work sometimes. To contain your anger like that is very torturous. Yet it's what pleases Baba, because you're really trying to, go through ego effacement through that process. I'm not sure what, but it really is beautiful stuff, but very hard at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly.
Jeff, Diane, right?
Okay, yeah, Diane, go ahead.
Well, I do a lot of listening to Baba Zoom because I need reminders about Baba, and I need to hear from people who are a lot wiser than me and a lot more having been a Baba lover longer than me, with a lot of knowledge and a lot of stories. But tonight is a really profound night for me. kind of piggybacking on what Prakash said than what Terry said. I bring Baba in a lot during the day, especially when I'm about to have a hard conversation with someone, or whenever I have to write a difficult email. But the idea of seeing Baba in every place, not just bring him in for me, but seeing Baba, and I do recruitment for an ad agency, and it is just one of the most stressful jobs I've had in, I've been doing this for like over a decade. And it's because of the coronavirus, because people are getting to live wherever they want and work remotely and get 30 to 50% more money. They're jumping ship. And so what felt like a family is no longer a family. And so the idea, sorry if I'm rambling, but the idea of seeing Baba in every candidate or every employee feels like it will be such a healing for me and can take a lot of the angst out. I'm hoping. I'm going to try tomorrow. I might need to be reminded. So this quote is very, 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 very good. Thank you so much. And also, Jake, thank you for being on the front lines.
You know, Erich used to share this, where when Baba went on the, after the New Life, Baba came to the West here, and Erich and Pendu were told to head out, there's a whole story behind that, but to travel around India and talk about Baba and everything, going from city to city and town to town and all that. And Erich had never had to speak publicly about Baba. And he said to Baba, you know, what am I going to say? You know, he was like very worried, you know, what am I going to say? I mean, what am I supposed to talk about? Baba said, before you begin, just say, Baba, you speak. You know, Baba, you speak. And, you know, right into the 70s or 80s, when he was sharing this on a video, Gary Kleiner said, well, do you still do this? And Erich said, yes, I just did it right now, just before this video that you're taking. So, but that's what he do. Baba, you know, like, okay, Baba, you write this email, this ticklish email, you write it. Or you, someone's coming and they gotta go, you gotta say something uncomfortable, Baba, you speak. So that, I mean, this is what Baba asked the Mandali to do. Baba, you teach physics to these high school kids. No, it's, oh, we got, okay. Marta.
Yes, I just wanted, I'm remembering, I think it might be Meher, the lady Meher. I think she says this, but I'm not sure. But somebody all the time before they do RT, before they share, they always say, Baba, you take over.
Yeah,
Baba, you take over. I love that.
Yeah.
that's good.
And he wants to. I mean, he wants to because he can do everything. He's got more options than we do to get things done more lovingly and everything. So, Jay Seema, who's next?
Michael.
Michael.
Okay, excuse me, can you hear me? I guess so.
Yeah. Yep, we got
I
you.
see the yellow box, so that tells me you can hear me.
Yeah.
Well, I don't do it consciously. I try to do my best. I don't even try to do my best. I do my best in every job that I do. Whether it's, right now I'm putting trim on a shower door so it doesn't leak. And I don't know that I would do it differently if Baba asked me to do it. But I know if I do my best, I'll please him. And nothing matters more than that. And I have customers that come to me with projects that they want done. And I have to look into their minds and their hearts and see, well, what is it they really want? Because most of the time they can't express it. And they're not woodworkers. So I have to give wings, expression to their thoughts. And a lot of times I get it because I like to see them happy. I want them to look at something I've built and smile with pleasure. Because why? What else is the point of having a custom piece of work, you know? And spending the money on it. And so it's part of my life. It's part of the warp and woof. I love those words. I don't know which is the warp and which is the woof, but that's part of the fabric of my life. And then being with my wife, I mean, we get into some tense situations. We want to sell the house. We have to fix it up, go through a place. Looks like a hurricane hit it. And there's a tendency in me to go back to my old self, which is, what's going on? You know, I can get loud. And the other part is, no, I love this woman. I'm not going to damage that at all. It's precious. And that's how it would be if I were in front of Baba. I just, what can I tell you? Life is a miracle and it keeps on going on. And I don't know, if I was offered God realization, I don't know that I'd take it. If I had a choice in the matter, I really want to hang around and see how this thing is going to play out in 700 years, because it's never happened before. So, and it's a beautiful game. Nothing is more perfect than this universe. Audrey told me something that I never forgot. He said, if you're friends with the Creator, then the whole creation is your friend. And I really love the man. And I love that saying. It stayed with me all these years.
Say that again. That's beautiful.
If you're friends with the Creator, then the whole creation is your friend.
That Adi K. Irani?
Padre.
Oh, Padre. Oh, good.
And another thing that happened to Padre that I read in the book with Erica, that someone wrote, Erica wrote it, that it wasn't as if Padre took over his body, but they worked in concert. So a disciple who had the same outlook, philosophy, tools as the avatar. The avatar didn't have to take over the body, the person's body, to communicate. He could inspire them, they could work together. And I often feel that happens to me, especially when I'm writing poetry or music. When I get into that inspired state, I just feel like I've become Baba's voice or his hands. And I enjoy the relationship. Just, so, well, I guess that's enough. I don't want to, I don't repeat myself too much here.
Yeah, no, that's good. Thank you, Michael. Beautiful.
You know,
Yeah, well, the other night I was driving back from Maine and I got caught in a hurricane, and it was extremely scary. And it was very dark. There was no breakdown lane on the Merritt Parkway. And the GPS kept telling me to turn off on all these back roads, which were very dark. And I was just telling Baba to take over and drive this car and just protect me. And, you know, I had a couple of near misses, almost, because it was torrential rain. I literally could not see the road at all. And there was nowhere to pull over. And so I got home safely. It took me 10 hours when it should have taken 6. And there was a parking spot right in front of my house, and my doorman came out and helped me with my luggage. It just all went very smoothly. But it was very scary, in spite of the fact that I made it home safely. I was like, oh my God. I just couldn't even believe the amount of rain that was falling because I was in a hurricane, and I had checked the forecast beforehand and it said it wasn't coming till the next day, but well, you know how the weather goes. But anyway, I felt like Baba was taking care of me and just guiding me.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Maybe the hurricane didn't read the forecast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, there's this last line in this thing that might be interesting to think about. Let me see if I can find it.
If I shared it.
Yeah, I mean, but I wanted to go back to it. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, you can take that. I'm just going to do it as if it were the most important. When let's see, wait, here it is. Do it in short, as if you were not doing it at all, but as if I or Baba were doing it through you. Now, I think of this as a description of the provisional ego, and I've tried for months on end sometimes to think, is Baba waking up? Is Baba going into work? Is Baba doing this? And I've never been able to make it stick. I just haven't. But what I do, and I'd like to hear how you guys do this, but well, one time I was back in the 70s, I was staying at the back of the gateway on a cot opposite Fred and Ella Winterfeld, whose health was, both of them had trouble with their health. And I woke up and Baba flashed this to me as I was waking up, where he said, it was a flash, but putting it into English, what he said is, you can live a good life, but does the world need a good life? Let me live your life. And I thought it was assumed that he could, you could take over if he wanted, but I realized that he actually needed my permission. Can you imagine? But anyway, so I started, what I would do is I would say, okay, Baba, I'd wake up, you live this day. You go in, you see the guests, you embrace them, you get into conversations, you have lunch together, and I would say, you do this. And I would feel in the course of the day, there were moments that were much larger than they should have been, if it was just me doing it. So or a little more timeless, or there would be more love in an exchange than I know it would have been possible if I was just doing it. So I realized Baba was taking me up on it. I was asking him to live the day. And so there would be moments in the course of the day where I could see that this is more, in other words, he is more in our lives than we might realize. And so that's kind of, I once said to Erich's brother, Merwan, I told him I just couldn't be able to do that. I wasn't able to do this provisional ego. And he said, well, do this. He said, when you go, take Baba with you. When you go to the store, say, Baba, come with me. When you go to meet somebody, Baba, come with me. Kind of as Prakash was talking about. He even said, Baba, I have to take a piddle, come with me. Take him everywhere. And I said, well, that sounds like plan B until you can get to plan A, which is Baba's the one who's living this life. And he said, yeah, that's plan B. plan A is this Baba is the one who's talking, Baba is the one that's teaching, Baba's the one that's, so that's kind of the, as close as I could get to the, what I think of as the provisional ego. I'm not aware that Baba, well, I'll give you an example. I can be, at the end of the day, like really exhausted at the center. And I see someone in the distance and they say, hey, Jeff, and everything. And suddenly all this energy comes and we have this great exchange. And then afterwards, I go back to how tired I was. But I mean, for a while, I was eclipsed by Baba. He made this exchange happen. And then I just kind of go back to where I was. So I'm throwing that out as, because I'm sure you all have examples of this type of experience just in the course of your day. Anybody want to venture? Let's ask Goer.
Oh my goodness. First of all, I just found your message about today's topic went into my junk files, and I was wondering what the topic was. I had no idea till I just found it in my junk file. So I have to figure out a way for it to come into my regular mail now, so I know what we're discussing. But yeah, well, with me, it's, Baba's into my day at the very beginning of it, and as always, and whatever I take on, I try to think of him before I venture into whatever task I'm doing. But one of the biggest challenges, I should say, that came my way was the time when I came out with my father's book, The God Seeker. And I wanted to write the first page of the introduction, at least start the introduction. And I wanted myself to, I wanted something to, I knew I kind of knew what I wanted to say, but I didn't know how to say it and then I'd never written anything in my life. So of course I said, Baba, you write it for me. That's it. And I just closed my eyes and I sat there for a few minutes. And then my pen just started to move and I wrote. And before I knew it, that whole, whatever I had within me that needed to come out onto the page just flowed. It just flowed. And it was Baba that did it. So that's all I can say.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure everybody's had such situations where Baba has kind of taken over.
Yeah.
And what that you weren't really capable of putting together gets put together.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, it just naturally flowed. I was amazed. It was exactly what I wanted to convey that came out exactly as it, as I thought it should, kind of, but it was Baba that did it. So I was just so nervous to put any part of me on paper, so to speak, but he made it flow so smoothly. So I'm happy that I could contribute even that much, or he did, actually, he did. So,
yeah. Just, it's always good to check your junk every once in a while.
Yeah, really. I was like, I didn't know what was happening. So anyway.
I want to turn to Josh, see what's rattling around in.
Well, it's been very interesting because I'm trying to put into practice immediately what I'm hearing now, because I'm doing an art commission as I sit here listening to you folks. And it's for somebody's book cover. Like they've written a small book and they're self-publishing, and they've asked me to do the cover for it. And so literally one stray line can ruin somebody's book. So, so it's interesting. It's just, trying to remember this sort of like the constant doer of all things, that sort of all things sort of are coming out, and of sort of this one source, and just trying to remember. For me, the remembrance is all I can do. I can't a lot of things I can't do, which makes sense because it's not me doing it, it's Baba. I don't know. That's good.
Yeah.
And I'll show you all the picture that I'm doing as well.
Ooh, lovely. So it's like a children's book, is it, or?
Yes, sort of. It's like a woman has written her own personal mythologies, as in like sort of just experiences that she has of sort of almost like contemporary myths. And yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Hold it up again. Let's see that.
Can everyone see me? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, lovely. Wow.
Beautiful.
What's the medium?
Paper, texters, and pen.
What was the second?
What was the second thing?
Texters, like you have this in America where they're like colored texters. So so they're like kids get them. They're like
Stencils?
they're like,
Stencils?
Magic markers? No.
yeah, like magic markers. They're a marker, okay, a colored marker that children get.
Okay.
But then I just use them because they're cheap to buy.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Well, Marsha, the artist in the group, gave you a big thumbs up.
Oh, thanks, Marsha.
Yeah, she does things like that as well.
Maybe gel markers, gel, GEL is, I think.
Similar. It's like, I mean, is gel like marker like a pen? Yeah, it's like a pen, but more of or maybe, I don't know. It's tough because we've got different products here in Australia and America, you know. But yeah, it's just like a marker, you know. Yeah, colored marker.
It's lovely.
Okay, let's see. Michael.
Hi. Am I muted?
Nope, you're good.
I am. Okay. I was thinking about the situation where Eric got himself into, where he decided to leave Baba. And he was going to leave everything that Baba had given him before he went away. And he started with his belongings and then his clothing. Just as when he was about to be stark naked, Baba called for him. And he realized at that point that everything he had, including his body, was from Baba. So how could he leave it when everything was Baba? So the other quote that comes to mind is Baba's quote that says, "I am closer to you than your very breath." That means we don't have to ask him to be with us. He already is with us. Now, what we allow to be conscious of, that's what we have to manage. We have to manage our minds. I mean, here we are naturally love, just like little kids, 2, 3 years old, playing with each other. And they don't worry about the great things that we're worrying about, who created what, and the creation, and does God love me, and all that. They just are. And that's how we really are. And Christ said that. He said, "Become ye like children to enter the kingdom of God." And I think about, in terms of remembering to love Baba, I think about my mother. I was always late in wishing her happy birthday. In fact, one of the things I miss now that she's passed is my forgetting and feeling guilty about wishing her happy birthday late. It's such a funny thing to be attached to. And it's so true. But I'll see little photographs, somebody's eyes, and I'll think, no, my mother had eyes like that. That person reminds me of my mother. And I see somebody's nose and I say, that's Baba's nose. I don't worry about whether I love my mother or not. I don't worry about whether I love Baba or not. The only thing I have to worry about is how I treat other people, what comes out of my mouth. And that's one thing that I have control over. And I know that if I if I love, then it's as if an alarm went off in the fire station. All the masters say, aha, there's true love. And I believe that that's what lights up the universe for God, is when our hearts are open. So I don't know what else to say. Till next time.
Let's try Mayhair there.
Jeff, I read this book very often to the Baba lovers in the evening, my evening. It's called My Insights. This is the book.
You mean that's the picture?
Can you see it, Jeff? This is the book.
Oh,
but
raise
it doesn't
up.
have any author's name. That is a very peculiar thing.
Yeah.
I've read it, and very often Prakash has also asked me about the name of the author, but there's no author's name.
Raise the book just a little bit there. Yeah, a little higher. We're not seeing it. We have not. I have not seen that book.
Someone gave me. It's a Baba lover who gave it to me. Yeah. Now no one knows from where this book is come, but it's not even on a Baba group or anything. The name of this book.
Well, if you find something in there that's kind of relevant to what we're talking about, share it with us.
Yes, yes, there are lots of good ones. There are lots of good ones.
Yeah. Let's see. We haven't heard from Marion. Now, she usually has some good things going on there.
Well, I'm not, I was just kind of listening because I want to hear other people, because I work, I think I mentioned to you last week when you were talking about this quote, I had it on my kitchen bulletin board for many years, many years.
I remember,
I don't know where I got it. I took it off. I have a file folders of a lot of quotations. I couldn't find it in there, but I had it up there to remind me, because the theme, a lot of the theme of my life has been in my memoir writing. I've been writing memoirs for many years. And once my teacher said, pick a project, you write about anything. So I picked work, because I started at 12 years old in my father's drugstore in Brentwood, Missouri, and then building careers, single mom, and all my work life really governed me. So that quote was very relevant, and I don't have a lot to say about it, but I know that because I was in advertising career, late 70s, early 80s, when there was no such phrase as sexual harassment. So do I need to say any more about my advertising career of being a woman executive in a male dominated world? So I've got a lot that I've written in my memoirs. So believe me, that quote and being with Baba, just really saved my life. And so even now, because I've had to look at everything in all aspects. And Baba even writes about that we all have a lower self. So I feel very grateful. I've been trained in my professional training in core energetics, how to always release lower self. It always leads to the divine. And so I just automatically do that. Or if I had a client, I still have one client left of my counseling clients. I don't do it with her, but we work on the phone. But all through the years, I would have to set it up, a little bit of a, I use this with a smile, kill everybody off before I go see a client, it's all that kind of stuff. So I learned how to do that by turning it over to Baba, let my killer out, because I was more of the submissive type. And so what's the other side of the coin? Jeff, you're always bringing up the two sides of the coin. The other side of submission is aggression. So I had to learn to go through aggression to balance with true self-assertion. So I spent a lot of my life doing that aggressive side in a very healthy way. So my work is still very important to me, because even if I'm not getting paid for something, I have a calling. Sometimes it's to write a letter about something that's topical in our society and write it. Could be about the environment, could be about how food is grown, the condition of our soil, anything, I consider my work. And therefore, I have to give it over to Baba because it's fraught with so many aspects of feeling helpless and then taking an action, but letting it go, just like that reading, and letting go of the end result, because I have always loved trying to figure things out and it never worked. So that's all I have to say about that. But that affected my life so much. And when I thought, what is Jeff doing bringing that up now? And I thought, uh-oh, what's Baba doing through Jeff to me? Because I really, just that you're doing this, that's as far as I'll go, because there's going to be more unfolding about this, that this is the topic you brought up tonight. So I'll pass with that.
Yeah, and it's nice that you had that as a guiding quote for so many years.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Let's see. We got Tony Paterniti. I mean, he's usually, although I don't know if Tony, did you get the quote that we sent out? I was told never point at anybody, and that's what he's doing.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm mainly just listening. I'm out of town. I'm at a hotel. I'm trying to get myself ready to leave in the morning. So I'm mainly just listening and enjoying everybody sharing. I did read the thing you sent twice, but I forgot what it was.
Yeah. You know what?
Well, if you could refresh.
Do whatever you do, but do it as a spiritual being, as someone who knows he's divine in essence and united with the whole of life in essence, something like that.
Yes, no, I remember that now. My thought on that was, I love that quote, and it's not exactly for me. That it's not the way I experience my relation. I guess you could say it is, but I would not think of it in those terms. It's the way my relationship with Baba seems to have a different, was certainly at the center of my life, my actions, my decisions, my surrenders or struggles with surrenders, which I guess is as a spiritual being. I love the quote, but when I thought about sharing on it, I couldn't really find anything, because I experience myself as a spiritual being very much engaged in, engaged with the illusion to increasingly come to consciousness. It's to say as a spiritual being to me speaks to being already there. And while part of me is always already there, another part is definitely on this journey. So yeah, I felt I couldn't, some of the quotes that I shared and that are meaningful to me or that I hear and I relate to more directly. This one I enjoy its beauty and its truth, but it's not, I don't know how to use it. I don't know how to use it directly. What I do know how to use are different tools, I guess.
Yeah.
That Bob has given.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of feel much the same way. It's an inspiring quote, but it's hard to make it real in your life. I mean, but it's a great challenge. And one day, I'm sure we will be able to think that it is really Baba doing everything. I mean, to kind of really feel that's a real thing. But yeah. Well, let's see. Anyone have? I'm trying to think if we have. I don't know if Mayor Prasad is actually there. Okay, wait, Marta. I like that blinking hand.
You know, I know, and it's because when I press it, it doesn't stay on, so I just keep pressing it until somebody sees me.
Yeah.
I was just reading this on my phone again. It says, leave the fruits of action to me or to God. Do it as if it were the most important thing in the universe. Yet let it be destroyed or ignored or ridiculed without concern, or let it be praised without elation. Sorry, and that line, do it as if it were the most important thing in the universe. Sorry. I was thinking Tony was saying he wasn't relating it to it, but then I saw that line, do it as if it was the most important thing in the universe. I don't think I've ever done anything with the thought that it's the most important thing. I mean, with the idea, I guess, to do it the best you can. Is that what it's referring to?
I would say so. Yeah, to do it as wholeheartedly as possible, which means that you're making it very important as a focus of your love.
And going back to, is Jake still here?
No, he had to go.
Might be gone. Well, going back to that original thing that he was coming up with, or even what Joshua was referring to,
Must be Mike. Did you have a good day?
What else? Was Elle talking? So I was just thinking,
just have to turn it off.
just the fact that we think about, or I think about giving it to Baba. I think that Baba's really pleased just with that one step towards him, you know, whether or not it's the best I can do. I think to have the idea that I could do the best that I can because it would please Baba, maybe. I don't know. I really don't think about doing the best I can. I just do what I can do. But it seems to me that if we just think about Baba, then it seems like Baba would be already happy that we're giving it to him just by that simple gesture. No?
Yeah, and that might be the best we can do. I mean, if you bring Baba into something, that's probably better than doing a superb job at something and not remembering Baba. You know, you could do a total failure at something, but if you were remembering Baba in the total failure, you'd be quite pleased. I find, you know.
Because if somebody like our dear Goher is hesitant and has fears about writing the story of her dad, it's like, you know, it puts it in perspective. Okay, well, Goher struggles and she gave it to Baba. So then if I struggle, then I'll just give it to Baba and then Baba will do it, you know? Yeah. I love when Goher shares something because it's always so practical. And it always gives me great hope. Like, okay, I might have a chance at this.
See that again is speaking through me. So there you go.
Thanks, Goher, so much.
Oh, thank you. Sweet.
You know, it's beautiful. Erich used to say, was sitting around, he'd say, we're all in the same boat, brother. You know, in a way, we're all, you know, we're all kind of dealing with all of these things and trying to get it in the right spirit, do it for Baba, give it to Baba, all that. Let's see, I had one last thing to say, but now I don't know if I can remember it. Oh yeah, I was thinking of doing on Tuesday night, Intuition Part 2. And a reason now, I don't know, I mean, this is a little bit selfish, but I have to kind of give start a little presentation on intuition with this group. Some of them I think are from England and all of that. And so I was going to give one aspect of intuition that I kind of gathered from my own experience and Erich and Darwin. a way of looking at intuition. And if you folks can bring your experiences of intuition and everything, it would be, I think it might be interesting. And and that way I feel like I've kind of gone over this, because what I say might be unintelligible. So you'll be able to tell me whether it's intelligible or not.
Jeff, what is the presentation you're doing? What is the aspect of intuition that you want us to look at?
Well, I'm putting intuition in a larger context. You know, there's flashes of intuition, but where there's another way of looking at it, the way that I look at it, just to say you briefly, is, you know, when we're up in our head, we get intuitions, but they're much less frequent. When we drop into the heart, I found intuitions are a little more frequent. When we go to the deeper heart is right next to the heart of hearts, or the realm of the spirit, and the divine qualities that are in the realm of the spirit, or the heart of hearts, they start to percolate into our deeper heart. And I think of intuition as can read a situation. I think of intuition as also has empathy in it. It can read a situation, and then it gives the green light for the divine qualities that are being called for to be expressed in that situation. So it might be a friend is going through a divorce and everything. Then the, empathy and forgiveness, certain divine qualities come into us, all our attention and everything, it comes forward, and we meet that situation. Or, say if there's a little kid on the center and he wants to, I can tell he wants someone to play with him, then my intuition releases from the heart of hearts into my heart playfulness, spontaneity, fun-lovingness, and adventure comes in. And so that's there to meet that situation. And we go riding off in the golf cart or whatever. But I'm thinking of it as a kind of very organic sort of a thing. Not as so esoteric, but it's the divine qualities that are being released into our deeper heart, and then they get expressed to meet a situation and what's being called for. And I think we do this, many of us are doing this all the time without necessarily realizing that it's our intuition that is actually telling us how to meet this situation. What qualities are coming that are being called for in the situation. And, it's not necessarily some faculty or flash, but it's kind of very natural, spontaneous process. Anyway, I'm just giving you the bare bones.
Yeah, thank you. That gave me a much better idea. Thank you.
But that's seeing it from one particular angle. There's so many different ways that people receive intuitions about what to do, and yeah. But anyway, that's so. So come with see what your intuition tells you about what to say about intuition. Anyway, hey, so let's have why don't we have a few moments of silence? I'm trying to think if we've got a, is Mayor Prasad, are you there with a quote? You may not be. And does anybody have, oh yeah, there he is.
I have to get my phone, but if anyone else has a quote, please go ahead.
Goer, you got one there?
Yeah, just let me look. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find one.
Yeah.
I put a quote in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Someone put a quote in the chat? Let's see.
Peter, do you want me to read it?
Yeah, read that. Good. And then we'll have a few moments of silence afterwards.
This is from Eruch. The work is only an excuse that Baba uses to work on you. He grinds your ego by working on your sanskaras. If you resign to him completely and become his slave, then he will give you the experience of real freedom.
Ooh, read it once again.
The work is only an excuse that Baba uses to work on you. He grinds your ego by working on your sanskaras. If you resign to him completely and become his slave, then he will give you the experience of real freedom.
Jai Baba. It was Dinku's birthday yesterday. She's 42 years old.
You got to double that and add a bit more.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm kidding you.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Dinko.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Birthday.
Happy birthday. Thank you. Is it the same day as Kitty Davy?
Kitty's birthday was the 28th of August.
Yeah, that's mine. That's the same.
Yeah, we used to celebrate her birthday on the lawn at the center. Hundreds of people would be there on the sloping lawn with it'd be like picnic. And the amazing thing is that Kitty would be sitting at a table, and people would be kind of coming up one by one to greet her. And she was so absorbed in each person as they were coming up to her that she had no idea that this whole thing was being this is happening in her honor. I mean, she was like so tuned in to one person after another that she didn't even see the whole. You know, we were walking around, we could see the whole spirit and everything like that, but she was so selfless that she put that person in front of her as the most important person in the universe for the moment that she was with them. It was kind of hilarious, clear that she was oblivious of what was going on in a way. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you, Jeff, for your guidance here.
yeah, well, I'm just trying to, we got 700 years to fill up, with to kill.
I have a real short quote.
Yeah.
But somebody sent it to me, so I don't know where it came from. The mind is beautiful, it is strong, and it is your friend. It has worked hard and saved you for years. It doesn't know that you have a higher self. This is a time for your higher self to begin a relationship with your mind, one that is based on wisdom and patience, gratitude and respect. Let Baba channel through you to your mind. The goal is to stay present, connected to wisdom, and to a breath that is wide and slow.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Lovely.
And Al Grosso's got, it looks like he's got his hand up. I don't know.
When I said what you said, Al Grasso's got, then I said, what do I got, Jeff?
You got your hand up.
Anyway, I have a little quote here that kind of encapsulates what we were discussing tonight, means to me. Baba says, to achieve the God state, do absolutely nothing while doing everything.
Yeah, beautiful.
Jeff, I want to ask you a question, a little off topic. Last night, somebody mentioned Paul Brunton, and then I remembered that he had a secretary. I couldn't remember the guy's name, but it was Louis Agostini.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he became a Baba lover, but he was Paul Brunton's secretary.
Yeah.
And he told Paul, well, I can't be working for you because I've become a follower of Mary Baba. And you had that chapter in Search of Secret India, so critical of Baba. And Paul Brunton said, well, what do I know? But anyway, he married somebody named Vivian.
Vivian, yeah.
She was an artist. I had that little coin earlier tonight.
Yeah.
For the 1964 World's Fair. And when they first met Baba, Baba, as he sometimes does, ignores you. So she felt very ignored. And then right after that, Rano comes to her and says, oh, come. Baba wants to see you personally. Anyway, I was just wondering, did you know these people?
Yeah. Yeah, he gave a great talk at the center. He was 90 years old and just stood up there kind of straight and just gave a eloquent talk on Baba. But he was a beautiful person, Louis Agostini and Vivian.
Yeah.
These are old timers.
When did he die? Do you know?
Oh, don't ask me about years.
Been a while.
I remember when he died, but I don't remember the year.
20 years ago, 30 years ago?
I would say 20 years ago, 15 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But isn't it curious that he was Paul Brunton's secretary?
Yeah.
How kind of things come full circle?
Yeah, no, I always thought that was amazing that, yeah. No, well, I think.
Jeff?
Yes.
Yeah, last evening, I logged into the YouTube channel that was broadcasting live, the Mehrabad Youth, Young Adult Sahabas talk with Rustam and Sorab.
Oh.
And it was really interesting, and they're funny and they're so entertaining.
Oh, but yeah. They are magnificent in the way they share about Baba.
Yeah, it was my first experience of them because I didn't even know what they looked like.
No, they are great for young people because they did so many shenanigans to entertain Baba. I mean, very funny things. And they're just, they're great ambassadors for Baba's fun-lovingness with young people, with the young teenagers and that. No, there's a beautiful story, but yeah, if you can tune into that, it's well worth, hearing their stories. They're hilarious. The things they got away with, that are so universal and entertaining. Yeah.
Can you not get them
Jeff,
on one of these chats as
or
well?
is this all on Zoom?
What's that, Al?
I was saying, is some of this live or is it all on Zoom?
All on Zoom.
It's all on Zoom, okay.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dinku, you were.
Yeah, I was just saying that, could you not ask them to come on to one of your late night chats?
Yeah, I don't know about the timing. One is in, yeah, it would be great if I could do it. I'll try if I can. Yeah.
Ganesh was one of the hosts there.
Yeah. Yeah, Ganesh is right in the middle of that whole youth, young adult Sahabas. That's why we haven't seen him here on the late night chats, because he's been buried in that. Yeah. Hey, well, we'll let you guys go and dissolve into the ether and then reincarnate tomorrow morning.
Good one.
Well, have a
And-
good night, everyone.
Yeah, happy birthday.
See you, everyone.
Stay safe.
Good night, all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. See you, Tony.
Thank you, Jeff.
See you.
Yep.
Thanks, everyone.
Just don't leave anything in that hotel, don't put anything in the drawers that you forget in that, in the hotel. All
I
righty.
might forget myself.
Yeah, you can forget yourself. That's all right. Yeah. Jai Baba.
Jai
Jai
Baba.
Baba.
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय
जय अवतार मेहर बाबा की
Meher
जय
Baba ki jai.
जय
Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Avatar Meher ki jai.